Hello there, how you doing? So, The Incredibles is a film where superheroes fight crime until the government complains they're doing too much damage and costing them too much money and imposes a law restricting them from using their powers, which is all great. Except for one of these superheroes, you know, the one with superhuman strength, opposes these restrictions using his powers outside the law and discovers a non-superpowered supervillain with intentions of destroying all the superheroes who ultimately fails. And Captain America Civil War is a film where superheroes fight crime until the government complains they're doing too much damage and costing them too much money and imposes a law restricting them from using their powers, which is all great. Except for one of these superheroes, you know, the one with superhuman strength, opposes these restrictions using his powers outside the law and discovers a non-superpowered supervillain with intentions of destroying all the superheroes who ultimately fails. I know. It's uncanny. But why does the government feel the need to restrict them? Why can't supers just be super? My main question in both of these films is, why are the superheroes being blamed and banned by the government when they're the ones saving people? For example, the people on the train suing Mr. Incredible for the injuries they received in the train accident would be dead if Mr. Incredible didn't stop the train. Well, you know, except for the fact he was at fault for destroying the train tracks and was basically the cause of the accident and was just clearing up his own mess. A bit like the Avengers in Age of Ultron. Yeah, I kinda get it. So, does this mean Vision is right?
The number of known enhanced persons has grown exponentially. And during the same period, the number of potentially world-ending events has risen at a commensurate rate.
He's saying it's our fault?
I'm saying there may be a causality.
Yeah, that's your question of the day. If there were superheroes in the real world, would the number of world-ending events increase? Personally, I think yes. Most definitely. And this is even proven in The Incredibles, because in the 15 years the superhero relocation program is around, the world, well, it doesn't end. Meaning there were no world-ending events. At least I'm assuming, because if there was a world-ending event, who would have prevented it? But even in that case, don't you think they'd have wanted superheroes just to call upon as like backup in a worst-case scenario situation or something? Because you wouldn't want your last thoughts when the world is ending to be, yeah, I knew a guy that could save us, but you know, we banned him from helping people. Like, it all just seems a bit dodgy to ban them just because of a couple lawsuits and some protests. It probably did cost a lot of money, but still. When they have the potential to save the world, why ban them? Why not just restrict them? A bit like the Sokovia Accords in Civil War. Now, the main differences between the Sokovia Accords and the Superhero Relocation Program is that the Superhero Relocation Program bans supers entirely from using their powers, whereas the Sokovia Accords states that the enhanced individuals can operate under the supervision of the United Nations panel, but only when the panel deems it necessary. Wouldn't it have made a lot more sense to restrict the supers in The Incredibles like this? Seamus, they are completely different films. Are you really complaining that they didn't explore the same idea? Very good point, polite YouTube commenter that doesn't exist. However, I'm not saying that at all. I actually think the Sokovia Accords and the Superhero Relocation Program are almost exactly the same. And actually, a large number of supers from The Incredibles weren't banned at all. If you've done your research when it comes to the supers in The Incredibles, you will know that there are 3 non-private, government-run super teams. A bit like the Avengers. And these were called the Thrilling Three, Beta Force, and the Phantasmics. You didn't know that? Oh, well then you obviously haven't extensively watched and made notes on disc 2 of The Incredibles. Oh my god, I'm such a nerd. Anyway, I'm not denying that the likes of Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, Frozone were all banned by the government because, well, that is the main plot of the film. And obviously they were relocated by the Superhero Relocation Program. But the reason for that is because they work alone. Yeah, I should have used the actual footage from the film. And they are literally enhanced vigilantes. That is the most overused word when it comes to superhero films, like, seriously. However, the supers in the non-private super teams, despite being relocated under new identities, they weren't actually banned by the government. Well, not entirely, at least. They were kind of seen as a backup plan for the government, you know, in that worst case scenario that I was talking about earlier. And all their actions will just be kind of swept under a rug and won't be reported by the press. And now the Superhero Relocation Program all makes sense. It's all just a government conspiracy. And here's the evidence. The lead super from the Thrilling Three, he's called Diner Guy, by the way, if you didn't know that, was one of the main supers being sued. Like, he gets a headline in this paper, and there is no other super other than Mr. Incredible that gets a headline in a paper about being sued. Seriously, rewatch the film, there is not one. However, it is also known that he died in a cape-related incident.
Diner Guy, snag on takeoff.
And I'm assuming he must have been sued before he died, right? But if the supers had been banned, why would he have been in his super suit to have died? Like, why? And I know what you're saying, it probably just took the government a while to ban the supers and file all the paperwork and everything for it. There'd have been time in between him getting sued and the supers getting banned, so he died in there. And fair enough, maybe he did. But when he died, he was replaced as the leader of the Thrilling Three by none other than Gazerbeam. But why would the government appoint a new leader of the team if they're just about to ban the supers? Well, that doesn't make sense. Also, have you ever wondered how Gazerbeam, the new leader of the Thrilling Three, worked out the password was Kronos? Well, I don't actually have a solution, but I'm saying that this might give a reason to how he worked it out, because when he notices the other two in the Thrilling Three have just gone missing, I can imagine he was a little suspicious. And then when he got taken to the Omnidroid and beat it, he realised, well, maybe that's what killed the other two. And in the period between his first and second fight with the Omnidroid, he had time to work out Syndrome's secret before getting killed by the Omnidroid. But not before he carved the word Kronos into the wall with his eyes for Mr. Incredible to see. So yeah, go Gazerbeam. However, the film makes us believe that the supers all got banned and the Thrilling Three ceased to exist, so wouldn't this prove they're still around? However, despite this evidence, I don't think the supers were used by the government because, of course, they were just the backup. And without the supers, this world-ending event never occurred. Because going back to what Vision said, the superheroes are almost like a causality to the world-ending events. It
invites challenge. Challenge incites conflict.
I genuinely just made a film theory about a government conspiracy theory inside a film. That's like theoryception. I know this was a Pixar theory and I did speak about Marvel a lot because I'm so obsessed with Captain America Civil War right now. So if you want to see a Marvel theory about the fate of Iron Man and Captain America in the upcoming Avengers films, click here. Or if you want to watch another Pixar theory to do with The Incredibles, click here. And if you want to subscribe, click here. And until then, I will see you guys next time. That outro made no sense, Seamus. I also got a new camera today. How good's the quality? This is a joke. It's on a blurry mode on purpose.